to streaming. The Data Roundtable is back. Thank you so much for joining me. It's so good to be back. You know, it's amazing how much you miss the streaming when you've been doing it for as long as I have. So I had to take a little bit of a break there, guys. I had to take a little bit of a break because I went on a nice retreat last weekend, and then I had to prioritize my coaching calls. It's been a fantastic few weeks for growth in my coaching. But I'm back. I thought I'd come and say hello, go online, host our regular data roundtable. As always, this is a format where all discussion is welcome, all data professionals are welcome. The purpose here is for us to get together and talk and kind of, live with each other among the data professionals. So if you're in the chat, feel free to say hello. It's so nice to be back. I'm glad I was able to kick off this stream. I stream at 1500 GMT or whatever time this is in your time zone. And then I'm here for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and then I switch over to Instagram. So I do a dedicated stream just for Instagram and also just for YouTube. So thank you so much for joining me. Already in the chat, we have my good friend Michael saying, hello, Dennis. Hey, Michael, how are you? Missed you, friend. Hope that you're doing well. Hope that everything is good in your part of the world. Let me know how you're doing. But Michael, as you know, this is the Data Roundtable where we have an open format for anybody to discuss whatever they'd like to do. So feel free to say hello. Feel free to just let me know how you're doing and kind of go from there. See where the conversation takes us. Manoj, my good friend Manoj says, hello, Sir Dennis. Greetings from Bangalore, India. How are you? I'm doing well. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day out where I live. It's going to be hot. So I already did my outdoor activities in the morning. Now I'm ready to just stay home and be indoors. It's going to be very hot. It's going to be about 45 degrees Celsius today, which is very, very warm. So I'm doing well. Hope the same for you, Manoj. Let me know how you're doing. AB, welcome to the chat. AB, I think this might be your first time. Welcome. AB says hello. Hello to you too, AB. Let us know what part of the world you're joining us from. AB, this is our data roundtable format where we discuss whatever you guys want to talk about. It's an open format. There's no rules. It just whatever you want to bring up that's data related, let me know. If there's any articles you read, projects you're working on, things that are happening in your life, let me know. Would love to kind of hear from you and see what you guys are working on. I think the biggest news of the week has been ChatGPT 5 being released. Have you guys worked with that? Let me know. I've done a little bit of work with it. It seems okay. I haven't tried some of the coding functionality yet. I've just tried, kind of like just the general research and questions and answering with it. I'm not sure if I'm detecting such a massive difference, but you guys can tell me. I don't want to bias the conversation too much, but I'm not sure if I'm seeing like some wow factor to it, But let me know if you guys have tried it. It is available for the free tier, so even if you're not an OpenAI subscriber, it is available as a free tier. So let me know. Casual Economist says, welcome back. Hey, Casual Economist, how are you? So good to see you. Welcome back to you too. I guess it's all welcome back if I haven't streamed in a little bit, right? But yeah, Casual Economist, I was just saying how I took a nice little retreat last weekend. I didn't get back until Monday from that. And then it's been nothing but client calls this week. I had a call on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then yesterday, Friday, I had 4 different client calls. So very busy on the coaching front. And in fact, I think I have one more tomorrow with Manoj in the chat. So Manoj, thanks so much for being a coaching client. But yeah, it's just, unfortunately, sometimes the streams have to take a back seat to the coaching calls because I do have to prioritize those for my clients. But glad that you guys are here. Glad that I was able to come online. I am here as long as you guys want to talk about anything data related, any problems, any articles, any projects, whatever it is that you're working on, let me know. Put them in the chat. Happy to give you my thoughts, and who knows, maybe somebody else in the chat will also help you, right? That's the whole point of being a roundtable. It can be conversation from anyone at any time. The answers don't always have to come from me, so would love to hear from you guys. Manoj says, I'm doing good, not yet tried GPT-5. Okay, so let me know why that is, Manoj. Why haven't you tried it? You're not alone, right? I'm not trying to pick on you. But that's one of the things that I thought was really interesting. On the day of that announcement, I think it was on Wednesday that they had the announcement. On that Wednesday, I posted a poll on my Instagram and saying, "Hey, did you see the ChatGPT 5 announcement today?" Because they had a whole live stream for it, and it was pretty long. It was like at least an hour. And I wrote that in my chat, like, "Hey, did you guys see this? Were you a part of this?" And I think it was 77% of people said no. 77% said no. Now, I know I'm not going to get everybody watching something like that, but guys, if you're in data, if this is the industry you want to be in, you should be up to date with those industry events, right? With those live streams, with those announcements, at least the big ones, right? And certainly this qualifies as a big announcement. So I was really surprised that the number was so high of people that didn't attend. I mean, this is the industry that all of us are dedicated to, right? So why wouldn't you attend that? You're supposed to stay up to date with the latest trends, the latest happenings, right? Maybe you're not implementing them in your work right away, because I think you should take a measured approach to new tools. But it's a free stream event from one of the largest AI companies out there. We should all be paying attention to that, right? So I'm going to do a little piece of content on that in the near future, because I was really surprised that 77% of people, of my followers, did not attend that. I mean, what are you guys doing? Like, this is part of the industry, right? Casual Economist says, I watched the demo, haven't used it yet. All right, Casual Economist, well, you're halfway there. So good for you, at least for watching the demo or the launch the launch event. But I want you guys to think about that in the chat. This is the industry you're choosing, right? You should be up to date on some of those events. It's a free event. Maybe it wasn't convenient for every time zone, but it was the same time. I think it was the same time as right now. I think it was at 8 a.m. I think it was 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. My time, which would have been relatively convenient for most time zones. So think about that, guys, right? I mean, if this is the industry you want to be in, you should be up to date on some of those things. Manoj says, true, I got a bit of a deviation to quants. Oh man, so much obsession with quant trading among the newer data scientists. I don't know, guys. Quant trading is not what it's always made out to be. Be careful with that, guys. Be careful with that. I think it's a lot less. I think that quant work is a lot less about trading than most people make it out to be. But Manoj, even if you are interested in quants, though, like I said, I mean, something like an OpenAI announcement on a major release, right? Because a five is like a major release. It's not like a half, right? Most of us should be paying attention to that. I gotta say, I was borderline disappointed that my followers had only 77% had not seen it, or they didn't attend. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is the industry. This is part of the work, right? So Manoj says, true. Yeah, Manoj. I mean, you're a smart guy, and I know you're building your skills and all that. But yeah, I think it's important to stay up to date on those types of things. AB says, I have been following you for a while from Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much. And I have started learning data analysis. How do you see its future in the Arab world and Saudi Arabia? You may be an expert in this. I don't know if I'm an expert in that part of the world. Um, but look, I mean, I think that there's going to be opportunities for data careers, data analysis, data products, data whatever you want to say, in all parts of the world, right? All parts of the world. Uh, we are still very much in early days when it comes to uh, everything related to data and algorithms, right? I always think it's funny when people ask about that, about, oh, is are LLMs saturated? Is AI still going to be around? I feel like I'm behind in my studies. We are in such early days that you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine no matter where your studies are, what job you have, whether you want to make a career switch, whether you're in this part of the world or that part of the world. It's very, very early days. This is going to be around for hundreds of years, guys, right? And you guys are worried about it like in year, what, year 3, year 4, right? I mean, as far as wide release or wide availability goes, right? So AB, like I said, I don't know if I have any special knowledge about the Arab world or Saudi Arabia, but overall, it's still very early days. There's going to be a lot of growth opportunities in a lot of the fields and data and a lot of parts of the world. Now, as I have shared before, I do have some concerns about the growth of AI in certain regions, right? Because you really can't be talking about a country or a region or whomever really can't be talking about being a leader in AI unless you have the data centers for it. You can't have data centers unless you have an appropriate electrical infrastructure, right? So I do worry that there are parts of the world that will fall behind because of a lack of electrical infrastructure. I've traveled the world enough to know that there are still countries that have, planned brownouts or rolling brownouts or entire blackouts because of particular weather patterns or whatever, right? So I do worry about those types of items, about how some countries are going to progress along that curve. I think that's something that maybe deserves a little bit more discussion. But other than that, it's still very early. Still very early, guys. Lots to still come in AI. So please don't feel like you're behind. Don't feel like the market's saturated. Lots more to come. Lots more to come. Denelson, my good friend Denelson from LA says, "Good morning, Sir Dennis. Hope you're well. How's everyone doing today?" What a great greeting, Denelson. Thanks so much. Yeah, I think everyone's doing real well, Denelson. You're jumping right into the chat, so thanks for being here. Hope things are good in LA. I keep on reading about additional wildfires in LA, which is so terrible. So I hope people out there are okay. I hope the weather quality is okay out where you are, Denelson. Last weekend I was in an area that also had some wildfires, and definitely you could feel it in the air and how you breathe and stuff. And I hated that feeling. But glad that you're here, Denelson. Hope that you're doing well out there in LA. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know how your data science practice is going. And also, Denelson, we were talking about whether people attended the ChatGPT 5 release announcement, or maybe you guys saw it later, on YouTube or whatever. But you got to keep up with that, guys. You got to be part of the industry, right? And also, that's part of the question that AB asked, right? About if I'm in a particular part of the world, how do I keep up? Well, you can attend events like that, right? It was a completely free stream, available on YouTube. You never know what you're going to learn from that. You never know what ideas something like that can spark that you go off and research, or you go off and try, or you go off and find a new use for an LLM or whatnot, right? So that's what I think about all of those. Very early days, guys. Very early days for a lot of the growth in AI. A lot of times I'm really glad I got to also live through the growth of the internet. because I see a lot of parallels between the growth of the internet versus the growth of AI and machine learning and a little bit of data science, right? Where I remember when like nobody had an email address and email addresses slowly started coming out, and you would get it through your work or you would get it through your school, but individual email addresses weren't really a thing. But then service providers started coming out, right? And then modems started becoming more popular. And then you would use those modems so that you could surf things like America Online. But America Online wasn't really websites yet because websites weren't a thing. And then websites came along, and then you didn't need AOL because you could just go straight to a website, right? And so on, right? The point being that you could have easily said, oh my God, AOL is like it, right? Like, I won't need anything else besides AOL. The market is saturated. Everything I could possibly want is on AOL, and it's too late to start my business or whatever, right? Or it's too late for me to study the internet. Well, it wasn't, right? There were like a million things after AOL, right? So who knows? Like right now we're working with OpenAI, but who knows if OpenAI is going to be around, right? It's still early. Or who knows what the next tool is going to be. We were all excited about email, and then mobile apps came along, right? So it's early days, guys. Still a lot more to come. Denelson says, I wasn't able to be in it live, but I did look it up after. I've been pretty busy at work, and I've had to bring it home due to conflicting partnership. It has affected my time to work on my projects. Oh, sorry to hear that, Denelson. Hopefully that works out. Not 100% sure what you mean by bring it home due to a conflicting partnership, but you don't have to share anything you don't want to. But hopefully you're doing well over there. Hopefully you're doing well over there, Denelson. Affected my time to work on projects. Yeah, I think all of us have different things that take our time, take our attention. That's not always easy to keep up with. So I get that, Denelson. It's not always easy to keep up, or to make sure that we're advancing on all fronts, right? So I think we all struggle with that. But you're a smart guy. I'm sure you'll find a way to make everything come together. Like I said earlier, I've been struggling a bit with making sure that I'm streaming an appropriate amount. The client calls have definitely taken priorities, and then when I have a client call, it usually results in some sort of follow-up or something else that I need to do after that call to help them. So I hear you, Denelson. It's not always easy to find time for your own projects, but you got to do it. You got to do it if you want to advance, right? That you just have to. You have to. There's no other way around that. But sending you good vibes, Denelson, that everything will work out in the long run for you there. So speaking of projects, does anybody want to share something that they're working on? I know that we've had various conversations in the past on things that they're putting together. Right now, I'm helping a couple of my clients through some of their projects. I don't want to say any of them out loud, but there are some people out there with some interesting ideas and different things that they're working on. So always like to hear what you guys are working on. You never know what unique applications people are finding out there. Denelson says, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, sure. Life sometimes gets in the way, Denelson, but that's okay. That's just you being human. That's all of us have to go through that at some point, right? So I know that I got some of the things in the way this week between myself and streaming, but it's for a good reason. I enjoy the one-on-one work. I as much as I like streaming and the content creation, the one-on-one work that I do with people is definitely very rewarding. So yeah. So like I said, if anybody wants to share their project or other things that they're working on or things that you've read, any good articles out there, this is a good time for it, guys. Or just feel free to say hello, because I'm seeing a couple people in the chat. Don't be shy. Feel free to hop in and say hello. Also, guys, let me know what you think about the vertical streaming format here. I'm kind of feeling like I'm going to stick to this format. I used to do widescreen, as many of you know, because some of you are my longtime viewers. But I think I'm gonna stick with vertical. YouTube is really encouraging creators to go vertical. So let me know what you're thinking of this format. I think it's kind of fun. Eventually, I will have to do the widescreen because I will do some more tutorials and coding at some point. But I'm kind of feeling the vertical for right now. Another place I might do more vertical from is I have an invitation to attend a conference this coming week. I secured a pass for the AI4 conference that's going on here in Las Vegas this coming week. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to go or how often I'm going to go, but it seems interesting enough for me to pop in there for a day or two. We'll see. We'll see. There's really not too many keynotes that I would want to attend, and I mostly go for the keynotes, mostly go for the personal interviews. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so that's what's coming up on my calendar this week, along with whatever content I can do or whatnot. But what do you guys have coming up this week, or what are you guys doing this weekend? I'm gonna do some streaming this weekend. I gotta do some work for clients. I'm actually launching a group meet chat for my clients this weekend. That should be fun. I'm inviting all of my clients to come together in a group meet chat because I figure that if you're gonna be one of my clients, you're also probably gonna be of like minds with everybody else, right? So I'm bringing people together in that way. I think it could be fun. So I'll be doing that later this weekend. Excuse me. But otherwise, I'm just going to try to keep on doing as much content as I can this weekend. Are you guys working on anything to develop your skills? Or maybe you're just hanging out with family, hanging out with your dog? I'm always hanging out with my dog, so that's just a given. Yeah, but let me know what else you guys got going on or anything else you guys want to talk about. And if you have any feedback on the vertical streaming, let me know. I attended a really great YouTube class this week with Jenny Hoyos. She was the host for it. Got to ask her a couple of questions. So YouTube is really doing a lot of work to help encourage people to do more of the live streaming, more of the vertical streaming. And I'm liking the format. It's certainly easier for me to go online. It's just a couple of different button presses to get me on. When I do my horizontal streaming, it takes so much more time to set that up and the different pieces of software and all that other stuff, right? So I'm enjoying this format, and it also works well for Instagram. On Instagram, I think the vertical format is just so much more preferable than anything else I've done on there. Manoj says the vertical view is good. Okay, cool. Thanks, Manoj. Yeah, I think a lot of people also in foreign countries tend to watch these streams more on their phone than anything else, right? That's one of the things I figured out when I was traveling. In a lot of countries, desktop computers aren't a thing. Most people's computer is their phone, right? Because the majority of phones or modern phones out there are very advanced, right? So yeah, sometimes I think that you reach more people if you target specifically for the phone, and the vertical live format certainly does that. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why TikTok is so popular, right? I mean, you don't really think of TikTok as having any sort of desktop uses, even though I know they have a website and all that, right? So yeah, thanks for that feedback, Manoj. All right, guys, so I think I'm going to use this as a natural transition point. I'm going to switch over to Instagram. If you want to follow me over there, really appreciate it. But so good to see everyone. Thanks for making my return back into streaming easy, because I know I've been away for about a week or so. But thanks so much, everybody. As always, please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will see you again tomorrow.